Oh, man. One too many gushers. Hey there, kiddos, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Uncle Frank. I'm that you are having a great day. And in today's video, I'd like to sit back in my very squeaky chair, relax, and have a conversation with all of you about this bad boy. This is the Transformers. This is the Transformers TCG, printed by Wizards of the Coast. And it is, in my opinion, one of the cooler trading card games to ever hit the market. And it is, to my knowledge, the only Transformers card game out there, which is a bit of a surprise considering how big Transformers is as a brand. I mean, let's talk about that for a minute. I'm sure if you are watching this video, then you don't need to be introduced to the Transformers as a concept. I mean, it's a fairly well-known franchise, but it's been around since the 80s. It's got a cartoon, all sorts of movies, all sorts of toys, manga, anime, KISS players, model kits, all sorts of crazy nonsense. There's a lot going on in the Transformers franchise. Oh, video games, a crapload of good video games. And it's also got a trading card game. And if you are a fan of Transformers, then don't worry. This is a really good trading card game, just in general, even if you weren't really a fan of Transformers. The basics of the gameplay, let's go into the basics before I continue any further into this video, just to try and get all the information parts out of the way. You are in charge of a team of robots in disguise. And the objective of the game is to knock out all of your opponent's robots. That's it. None of that silly life total nonsense that games like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Trying to do. No, you just want to blow up your opponent's robots as efficiently as possible. You do this with a team of oversized Transformers cards that start playing their alt modes, whether that be a dinosaur, a jet, a tank, whatever have you. And you supplement those robot cards with the action deck, which has action cards, upgrade cards, all kinds of stuff to improve your Transformers stats, give you extra actions in a turn, and hopefully turn the tide of battle so that you can knock out your opponent. At the end of every turn is a combat where you send one of your robots to fight one of the opponent's robots. And in combat, one of the cooler things happens where you flip over the top two cards of the deck, and at the top corner of every card there are these little squares, these color-coded squares. Orange squares give you bonuses to your attack if you're attacking. Blue squares give you bonuses to your defense if you're defending. And white squares let you flip over two more cards once a turn and add those to your results as well, which is really neat stuff. Overall, I think it's a very simple game to explain to somebody and very easy to get into. And it's a very fun game, again, whether or not you are a fan of Transformers or just a fan of card games in general. And it is a dead card game. You know, I've talked about this game before, and I know I've gotten these dates wrong before. It came out in 2018 and died in 2020. If I got those dates wrong again, feel free to hop down in the comment section and yell at your very forgetful uncle, because I know I've gotten those dates wrong before. Yeah, the game did die, which is a bit unfortunate, all things considered, because when the game was in print, it felt like it was very popular, and it was growing in popularity, like aggressively so. And keep in mind, this is all anecdotal, you know. I can only speak from my own experiences. I don't want to speak for the entire world or anything. But it felt like, especially locally and at bigger events near me, Transformer attendance was always going up, and tournament attendance was relatively high. Sales online, because I was buying and selling this card game when it was out, sales were pretty solid. Not comparable to like Magic at the time or whatever, but good enough, in my opinion. And in fact, I vaguely recall that like one of the bigger tournaments held just months before the game was announced as dead was actually really big, like the biggest in the game's history or something like that. So again, all anecdotal, but it just felt like Transformers was really successful and gaining in popularity. But like so many TCGs before it, it hit that 2-year wall and died. And I know a lot of people like to chalk up the death of the Transformers TCG just to COVID nonsense. You know, there was a pandemic going on at the time. So maybe that had something to do with it. But, Transformers was being produced by the same company that produces Magic the Gathering. And in case you guys are not aware, Magic the Gathering did not die because of COVID. But this hot and upcoming card game did. And I don't think it had anything so much to do with COVID directly as it necessarily might have had to do with production costs. You see, card game companies, they live and die by their bottom line. And every increase to their margins that they can scratch by is a huge benefit in the long term. And I do not have behind the scenes numbers. I have not talked to anybody who has worked on the game, so this is all entirely my own speculation. There is no super in-depth research that went into this besides just looking at the contents of the box, but I'm willing to bet that a box of Transformers cards is more expensive to produce than a box of Magic the Gathering cards, based on one factor alone. These things are freaking huge. I should have grabbed a Magic box to do a comparison side by side, but it's fine. I think I have an empty box of... I do! Excellent! Boop! This is empty. But I do have a box of Stronghold, and Magic boxes have largely remained unchanged since Stronghold came out. This only has 30 packs in it. Can you notice anything interesting going on here? I have. I've noticed something interesting going on. You see... put you back up there, please. It didn't fall over. I'm so happy. So, the thing about the Transformers card game is that all of the Transformers cards are oversized trading cards. Similar to what Commander cards were for a bit, where they were oversized in the Commander Precons, if you guys remember those. And you could only get your cards in random packs, just like every other card game. But they didn't want every card in the game to be oversized, just the robots. So what did they do? They came up with this clever little solution of a pack within a pack. Every booster pack of Transformers is actually 2 packs in one. There is one regular pack full of regular-sized cards inside of a larger pack that also contains an oversized Transformer card. And that, in my opinion, based entirely on nothing beyond my own speculation, again, purely my own speculation, is probably a lot more expensive to produce than a regular box of trading cards. Because not only is there the oversized card to account for, but there's the 2 layers of plastic as opposed to 1 plastic wrapper, larger than regular boxes. I'm sure it's pennies, right? I'm sure it's only pennies more expensive to produce. Or at the very least, that's what my gut's telling me. But I'm willing to bet that that adds up quickly. And with a global pandemic kind of shutting everything down, you look to cut costs, to improve margins wherever you can, and you look at your Transformers game and go, it's gaining popularity, but I'm willing to bet that it's also getting a bit expensive to produce. And they were trying all kinds of crazy stuff. The Transformers card game, as enjoyable as it is, they were very experimental with it. They kept trying all kinds of new stuff. And that's really cool. There was a combiners set, 2 combiner sets, actually. And instead of cards just being double-faced, they were triple-faced, where cards folded. They had folding cards in the Transformers card game, which, not great for longevity, in my opinion, because folding cards are going to degrade and wear down and break and all that jazz. But still cool that they tried. So there was new technology being used in the card game. There was oversized cards, 2 layers of card packs, gargantuan boxes. So overall, what I think happened... I just dropped that on the floor. What I think happened, very simply, is that Wizard of the Coast just looked to cut costs as a global pandemic came along. And if it is that simple, that is just unfortunate, because that means Transformers failed to pass the 2-year wall based almost entirely on just globally bad luck, which is unfortunate, because I do think it is a very genuinely enjoyable game with a lot going for it. Again, there's it's full of recognizable characters from throughout the franchise's history, not just classic characters from like the G1 cartoons, but also characters from like the comics that like the average Transformers fan who's only ever like watched the classic cartoons or maybe one or two movies, like there's some obscure characters in here. There's all kinds of interesting art. Some of it I'm sure is original, but a lot of it looks like it was just pulled straight from the comics. You guys know how I feel about that. Reused art assets are never good, but I digress. All kinds of cool stuff going on. And, you know, this is like one of the few dead TCGs that I've actually gone out of my way to grab like an ancillary product for. I don't usually do that for dead TCGs. I just grab booster boxes or whatever and call it a day. But I saw this 35th anniversary thing for it. I guess this was like a convention exclusive thing. And I mean, that just looks nice. Look at the back art. Can you guys... Look at that Optimus Prime. You see him? That's cool art. I liked this. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I want that. I want that in my collection. Because that's cool. It's a Blaster versus Soundwave thing. So yeah, overall, if I was to grade this as a trading card game, I would give it like a solid 9 out of 10. It's almost perfect insofar as I'm concerned. It's easy to get into. It's off of a recognizable IP that is owned by the company that's producing the cards. So that's a bonus. It's not like a licensed card game, because I do believe Hasbro owns Transformers and Hasbro owns Wizards of the Coast, so all things equal out, right? Honestly, if it had just survived the 2-year gap, it would probably be a solid 10 out of 10. If we had gotten more support cards, because it looked like there was more support cards in the pipelines. The final set did not look... It looked like it was leading into something else, is all I'm going to say. But yeah, overall, I think it was a very good game. I think there was a lot going on for it. I think it was... Again, I cannot stress this enough. Easy to get into, fun to play. It's the Transformers. So there's a lot to like overall. And it's unfortunate that despite its growing popularity, despite all the positivity that it had going on, it did ultimately just die, which is a bit unfortunate. And it's been 5 years now, so I don't think it's on the table to come back. But if there was a TCG that deserves to get another chance, a second chance at life, I would still vote for the Mega Man Battle Network TCG, but this is a close second, like, if I'm being completely honest. So that's all I've got for you kids today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about this game. Have you tried it? If so, let me know what you guys think about it. Beyond that, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.